Time shot, it's time shot. I'm in the place where my friends are, and I know together we'll go far. Yeah, time shot, it's time shot. And I'm still doing things the time shot way. Hello, people, it's Poet, and we're back on Time Shot. Now, today is yet another comment jam. And as always, I went through the previous videos from the last comment jam up to this one and chose some comments that I wanted to highlight in some way. You guys did a great job again filling my comment feed with a bunch of insightful and interesting things that I often would reply to and also wanted to comment on in this video. So, thank you for that. And I again encourage everybody to once again leave comments on the TimeShot videos when you feel the need, because I do go through them all and choose the ones that I like to feature in these videos. So, anyway, let's get right to it, shall we? It's not a long one today, though. So, you know, it's not going to be too bad, I think. But before we get started, actually, let's feature what I did on my live stream. So I streamed on TimeShot, which is something that I don't do regularly. You know, I should. I should find time. I still don't know how to. I just don't. What I'm trying to say is, like, I see the people who do live streams, like, every day. People like Win and Edson, and just the sheer amount of content they put out. I'm never going to be on that level. I just know that already. Just because of the way that my workload goes. I wake up fairly late in the morning, and by the time I've had my coffee and I've gone through all of the day's comments and Twitter and things like that, it's like 11 o'clock noon. I start recording my videos. By the time they're recorded, edited, uploaded, after being rendered, and then posted on YouTube with descriptions, thumbnails, all that kind of stuff, it's usually like 5 or 6 o'clock at night. And the last thing I want to do at 5 or 6 o'clock at night is stream, because to me, streaming is pretty intense. And then I don't feel like making more videos for the next day to get ahead. It's just a never-ending cycle. But anyway, I want to get to that point eventually where I can do more streams, like a regular weekly dinosaur stream, a regular weekly TimeShot stream, a regular weekly patron stream. There's just too many things. Too many things. But anyway, this is what I worked on the last stream we did. I basically finished this little tower here, the one on the right. If we go, I have feather falling now on my rubber booties. I just got, so I can actually jump down now drastically, changing the way that I move around here. But you can see that again, I haven't built it up any further than this. Like, there's my building cutoff with the third tier of window. But now I at least have the 2 chambers. And again, what I'm going to do is fill this with magma. And then there's going to be maybe like a cylinder in the middle. Like a steam generator of some kind. I don't know how we're going to make it look. But we're going to try to make it look industrial in some way, and it's going to have then smoke coming out of the top. I'm thinking white glass and gray glass and black glass mix, just coming out of the top would look really cool. And we're gonna have it blowing maybe towards MK's. I don't know where's the smoke gonna go. It's got to go somewhere, MK. And you know what? You're right there. Either that or it goes towards my base, and I don't think that would be very nice for my population of 1. I don't know. ultimately, I would love to get some villagers running around the city here. That would just for aesthetics, you know, would look really cool. Apart from that, on the live stream, we worked mostly on, look at my fail here, mostly on the pathway. I didn't showcase this too much. I actually got this, I forgot to mention it. I got this top part inspiration from one of my patrons. On the patron server, they had this big quartz base, and their entryway to their base had this top part. So like where my cursor is moving, like this little top part they had. And I saw that, and I quickly took a screenshot because we were tearing it down on the patron server. And I took a screenshot because I was like, you know what? That's not a bad looking little design for the entryway. I want to do the same. So I built that entryway, and then I built these columns, which of course look a little bit different. And then I put, you know, they had the little pillars coming down like that. I capped them off and then put other pillars up. So it almost looks like teeth. Almost looks like some kind of a cyclopsian mouth in some weird way. Depends how you squint. And then, yeah, like I said, I worked on the path. Just basically putting little path blocks. This is the ones that I on Twitter had 3 path designs. I asked people to vote on which design they liked the most. And the one that they seemed to like the most was Path A. And as such, I chose Path A. I'm not done with it, though. You can see I'm missing quartz and stone slabs there. And obviously, I'm missing a lot of stairs themselves on some of the paths. But this is how it's going to look. This is one of the finished paths right here. It's going to look like that. It's going to come down and then join up with other more elaborate bridges and stuff like this. And then when the bridge ends, it's going to, again, pick up the path like this. Pick up the path. See, it looks pretty good, actually. I don't mind how it looks. You know, you can see another example of it right here. Looks pretty good. I also showcased the leaves. I've decided to go with birch leaves because they retain their color in deserts and savanna and things like that. And they look really nice and luscious and green compared to, you know, the yellowish green that the grass and the other leaves of the savanna look like. I was originally going to do jungle leaves, but they look really, really yellow, and that's not what color? Yellow? I just don't care for that. I want it to look alive. I want it to look green. So like the difference can be definitely seen over there. I'll show you guys in a second. I also want to say that yes, the world download is out now. You can get it on our Discord. The link is in the description. It's bit.ly/TimeShot Discord with a capital T, S, and D. And you can get it right there. Download it. It's not as big as the old season TimeShot world download, so it's definitely worth picking up. You know, take 20-30 minutes to download if your internet's kind of slow. And then play around. Actually walk around in these builds and stuff that we've done. Not just me, but everyone. And I left my inventory here for you guys, and as a thank you of downloading the world. And I built this. This is probably the most basic automated smelter. It's not even really automated, but you know what I mean. The most basic smelter that you can get, where your items smelt are at the top, your fuel is on the side, output's on the bottom. And it just goes and goes and goes. And we, as a result, have quite a ton of smooth stone, which is perfect because I'm going to be using a lot of it. And that's what I'm going to start to work on today as we talk about our topics. All right. Good segue, maybe. Until I said good segue. Let me just hold on. I had to get my topics on the screen. And yeah, like this pathway isn't finished yet. There needs to be more stairs and that kind of thing. But, oh yeah, let's grab some of the smooth stone and get to work. Before I get to work on the smooth stone, someone left a comment on one of my videos. I think it was the one where I was talking about YouTube. that with coarse dirt, you can hoe it, and it turns into normal. I think I knew this. I think I knew this from like back in the snapshots, but it's something that I immediately forgot. Like, when would I ever need to know that kind of a thing? But they saw me, like, that whole episode was basically me just digging up and replacing coarse dirt with normal dirt. And they were like, what the heck are you doing? Come on. This is so much easier. So, like I said in my stream, this is probably one of the first diamond hoes ever made in Minecraft that someone uses as a hoe. And number 2, it's probably one of the first diamond hoes in all of Minecraft that has Unbreaking 3 necessary on it. We do screw up and make a few. Oop, look at this. Glitching. 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 We do screw up and make the plots of crops every now and again. But look at how this is going to be so much faster than it ever was before. Mind you, I don't really want to do this actual E. Why did I say it that way? I don't want to do it like that, actually. I want to do something different, which I'm going to be working on. And that's why I need the smooth stone. So let's grab some of it. Here's a bunch. Look at how much I have in here already. Let's grab a bunch. And away we go into our comment jam. First one comes from It's Me, Zach Plays. Oh, come on. Get up. Where's the... Wasn't there... Yeah? Where's my... Oh, here it is. I was looking for my entryway. It moved slightly in my brain. Yeah, first one comes from It's Zach Plays. And they say, Poet, you are so motivational. You know your videos make me laugh, and sometimes your vids are deeper than that. And I think that is what makes you successful. You do a variety of different vids, and I like that. That's nice of you to say. I know that my videos would actually probably be more successful if I stuck to one specific thing. And then just did that all the time. So, like, role-playing is something that we do a little bit of on TimeShot. We always have fun kind of messing with each other and having mini storylines and, you know, that kind of thing. If we were to focus on that alone and just do that, I think that not just me, but I think everybody involved would see a humongous benefit from doing that kind of video. Or, for example, if we were all builders and we were all really good at building, and we focused on like building montages and things like that, then yeah, we'd probably be successful in that. And the same as like if we were to do just nothing but talkie videos, all of us, we might be successful in that. It's really the opposite, unfortunately, in that if you do a variety of things, you're kind of breaking your core audience. Because what really happens most of the time, let's just go run and sleep. What happens most of the time is that people will see a video, like the content, and subscribe to that. You know, like, oh, I like this kind of thing. I'm going to subscribe to this guy. I mean, that's the only times in YouTube that I've ever done that. It's very much that way, where I watch one video. It doesn't take more than one. It's just one video of a guy. And I liked his humor. I liked the way that he was presenting things, you know, whatever, what have you. And I subscribed to him. You know, but if I then watch a second video and a third video and a fourth video and they're not the same, you know, then I'm not going to keep watching that guy. That's just how YouTube works. If he keeps making the same kinds of videos, though, then, you know, I might keep watching him. So, again, it's kind of the opposite, unfortunately. But, you know, that doesn't stop me, certainly, from doing what I do. And I appreciate you enjoying that. So, that's that one. What I want to do here, to explain what I'm about to do, it's a little bit difficult. what we're going to be doing, this is I wanted to refrain from telling you guys as much as possible. I didn't say anything in my stream, but what I want to do is replace all of the dirt with stone brick, or just smooth stone. I mean, not stone brick. That's what I want to do. And it sounds like a really stupid idea. Especially since, you know, we're going to be knocking off torches like I just did. And it's a lot of, like, just dig, dig, dig. My shovel is actually a little bit too fast for this. I might actually get a non-efficiency unbreaking shovel for this, because I feel like if I dig, I have to, like, just really quickly click. I don't want to dig too much down because there's no need for it. I only need to replace the dirt that's on the top, on the surface, not the dirt that's underneath. For example, I just need to replace that one. I don't need to replace all of these. And this is what we're going to be doing. Let me just see if I can get around here. I don't know the best course of action, though, for this. Without having to just pillar up every time. Pillar up, pillar up, pillar up. Because I want to replace those. How do I even get to those, you know? Do I do something like this temporarily? You know, I don't know what the best course of action to do this kind of a project is. Do I replace gravel? You know, I think I do. I think I have to. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So this is what we're going to be doing. It's not very exciting, I know, but hopefully it looks cool when we're all said and done. All right. So next comment is from the Hexbox. Sounds familiar. Did you get a question before? Anyway, the Hexbox, they ask or say, I really enjoy this showcase episodes. Every now and then do also a building montage video, though I know they're more intensive in terms of time. Also, I kind of like the andesite, fits better with the quartz than the stone brick. And after seeing this, I also want Dave to build that tree house. So I was showing off what we had built in a very minor capacity. I love the building montage episodes too. I really do. And I wish that I could do them more. It's exactly like you said, though. They are pretty intensive in terms of time because I have to basically say to myself, okay, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to build on TimeShot for like 2 hours. And throughout those 2 hours, either I'm going to time-lapse the entire thing, record the whole 2 hours, or I'm going to just do cuts. Cuts are easier because then you could even, like, you know, build for 20 minutes, go have lunch, build for another hour, watch some TV, build for another 20 minutes or so, and then once that's all done, you can then do your montage, your little update video. So I tend to do those little kind of update clip things a little bit easier. But I really enjoy doing them. I want to do more of them. I just haven't been doing a whole lot of building in general, I feel like. I don't know. Not enough to justify what a building montage would be. Okay, so tear these down. Tear that down. There we go. Kind of just having to keep count every single time. Did I count 1, 2, 3, 4? There we go. I have to keep count every time I break blocks, and that's really actually throwing off my concentration. I can't do two things at once. But yeah, I definitely want to do more of those montage videos. They are definitely a passion of mine. I love doing them. They're usually very well received also. So yeah, I definitely want to. Thanks for that comment. Next one is from Drayden, and they say, Poet needs to get a word in with someone like Bill Gates. Pet Me is probably the most veritable and worthwhile charity and awareness raising organization ever. This message not brought to you by Mules Anywhere. So, I agree. I've approached the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to see if they would be so kind as to donate to Pet Me. But they declined. So we can all assume then that they hate mules and therefore are the enemy. That's all that I have to say about that. Bill, I'm disappointed in you. So next comment comes from AZ Badfish, Arizona Badfish, AZ Badfish. Either way, it's a long one. It's actually kind of a two-parter. I'm showing you guys the first half, and it says, I will never pre-order, kickstart anything ever again. I've been burned a couple times. I've learned my lesson relatively quickly. The only exception to that rule is Blizzard titles, because I've been playing their games for, 25 years now. And they've been releasing quality content the entire time, but we see how often those come out. Once a developer has your money, they no longer have any reason to care about you, and most of them don't. This is something Total Biscuit has been ranting and raging about for years now. As long as people keep giving developers money for literally nothing, they will continue to produce garbage. Okay. And then they actually have a second part of the comment. Excuse me. It says, another thing to note, this could also just be another example of the internet showing us what's been going on all along. Developers have probably been making garbage games this entire time, but without the internet telling us every detail of every stage of every game being developed, the only way we heard about games was magazines and word of mouth, and nobody was talking about garbage games, except to say that they were awful. Okay, two very good points, and I want to talk about both of them. The first one being that I don't think it's right to completely take away from all Kickstarters because of a few bad ones. However, I can definitely see how someone can be discouraged, especially if they've been burned more than once by it. But I do think that legitimately there are some good developers out there who just don't have the funds to come through with a new title. You know, if you're an indie developer, there are so many expectations these days for a good game. And if your game is even slightly bad, it's going to be slammed. Good example would probably be No Man's Sky. I think most people can agree that that is a bad game. But if it didn't have such huge hype, it probably wouldn't be considered all that bad. Like, honestly, the graphics aren't too bad. The gameplay isn't all that bad. It's really not a terrible, terrible game. But because of the way that it was hyped and the kickstarting and the promises and stuff, it gets a bad rap. You know. But how else can an indie developer even compete? You know, if that game hadn't been kickstarted, if it hadn't had people crowdfunding it, you know, it wouldn't even exist. Not even the idea of it would exist. And I hate to be the one to say, like, you know, sometimes an idea is just enough to get other people out there to develop and create and, you know, think about Star Trek and inventing the cell phone, for example. Or, you know, I could even go so far as to mention people way back before they knew that the Earth wasn't the center of the universe. It was just an idea that, hey, maybe the Earth isn't the center, you know? Of course, you'd be, like, basically crucified for such a thought, but it still got people thinking, you know? It still got people wondering if that was true or not. And, you know, maybe you weren't successful. Maybe you died for your ideas in those cases. But it still got other people thinking, creating, and maybe that is enough. I know that that doesn't justify, you know, scamming people out of money, and that's an entirely different case. And I did talk about that quite a bit in, you know, Kickstarters where they come out with promises and, you know, you create your product. Meanwhile, you aren't a programmer. You have no idea what you're doing, and you can't keep your promises. It's like saying, it would be like me saying, hey guys, I have an idea for the best supercar in the world. It'll go from 0 to 60 in 0.2 seconds, and it'll be the best car ever. It'll be jet propelled and completely green, and this is the car I want to develop. And then I get like $2 billion donated to me. And, oh, well, you know, I'm not an engineer. I don't really know how to do that. I'd be mad too if I were someone who had donated, you know? That's why there are campaign websites out there that do not pay the developers until they come through. Woo! Until they come through with their promises, essentially. Let's do that and that. So that's kind of a good strategy to have, is to, you know, not pay them until they come through with promises, you know? That would certainly be one way of ensuring that they stay honest. But how discouraging is it to be a developer, to think that you do have what it takes, get some money, and then people hate your product, and you can't meet their demands, and then your name is basically dragged through the mud. I don't know. There's definitely two sides to it, always. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, if there is still a level of trust involved. Even with big developers like Blizzard, you got to be able to trust somebody. I don't know. Do we put our trust in only people we know about? At one point, Blizzard was a nobody. And that brings me to my next point about your next comment. And it said, you know, is it the internet basically keeping people honest, to paraphrase it? And it brings up an interesting point, because it's right. Back in the day, we didn't hear about every video game ever being developed. It was word of mouth almost entirely. Sure, there were some magazines out there that were giving, you know, basic information. 1, 2, 3, 4. Basic information like PC Gamers would give out, you know, ooh, this is the new Unreal Engine preview. And of course, places like E3 have been around for ages and ages and ages. And we've got our demos and information from things like that. But yeah, it's very true that in the old days of video games, only the best games even got a mention, you know? If you weren't the next Doom game that could sell a million copies, which was a lot back then, like, you know, if you didn't have what it took to compete with some of the greatest video games out there, if you weren't the next Mario, nobody ever heard of you. Nobody bought the games. Nobody heard of the games. Indie games did not exist. Keep that in mind. Like, they were out there for sure, but they really, really, really had zero following. But then you think about it, and like some of the biggest developers out there, like the guys who did create Doom, and the guys who did create Mario, and the guys who did create some of the most iconic video games of all time, they basically just started out with a really basic computer. Hashtag programming joke. And they basically made indie games, and they were the only ones making games at that time, so they had no competition. People bought them. If they were good, they talked about them. If they weren't, they just destroyed the copies. They were gone forever. It was a completely different world that I don't think you can compare. These days, for sure, if you so much as start making a game, you'll have a following. And if you don't come through with your promises or even your imagination, people will slam you for it. And it's a completely different cutthroat world now that you just cannot compare to the old days. I don't think it's that people are on the internet saying, like, you know, every little aspect of the game, scrutinizing them, but I think it's certainly related to that. In that you cannot even make a bad game without it being called a bad game. You know what I mean? Like, back in the old days, a good developer could make a bad game and nobody would talk about it. Nobody at all. It would be gone forever. And, you know, no worse for wear. These days, if you make a bad game, especially if people pay for it, because you're trying to get funding to make those bad games, you are mud, my friend. So I don't know. I was just thinking about that one element of it. That, yeah, it's a completely different game these days. People can't just develop and be forgiven for their crimes. Making a video game has increased drastically in price, and you know that they have to kickstart it. But if you do, you know, don't go crying if you fail and then become scum of the earth. So that's the state of affairs, I think. And lastly, it's kind of just a general comment. So this is the final element, and we're already over half hour, so I'm trying to make it fast. And because there were just so many comments about the YouTube thing, I talked about YouTube and how it works and further reading, and then I also posted another video that I didn't mention in my video, where he talks about how YouTube is now catering to people who advertise rather than people who actually make good content, and it's worth watching as well. But all of that generated a few questions and comments. One of them asking about the algorithm itself, like how does YouTube sort of figure out what to show people and what to present. The question was more towards, like, is that what happens? And yes, it is. Essentially, YouTube does have a quote and unquote algorithm. And this algorithm it's exactly as it sounds. It's a computer equation system that determines what makes a video worth it in some ways. And that algorithm has changed over time. They do it to make advertisers happy. They do it to make the people making the videos happy. And they will continue to change it as YouTube changes. And I mean, if you think that it's just to YouTube doing that kind of thing, no. I mean, Facebook does the same kind of thing with not only their video and display feed things, but also for advertisements and the like. Twitter has done it to some extent. You know, just small changes in how tweets are displayed and how people find other people, and it's all really what their moneymaker is. If I was an investor and I wanted to invest in, say, YouTube tomorrow, the one thing that they are going to present to me is their algorithm. They can say to me, look, Mr. Investor, you're going to make a lot of money because our system is patented and unique, and we can generate this amount of views on this kind of video, which your target audience likes, and you're set for life with us. You know, and I, as an investor, would love that. But yes, to answer that quick question was, yes, they do that. But then it brought about other questions from people saying like, well, isn't views money for YouTube? Like if they get paid for views, you know, if ads get shown on views and that's how you make money, wouldn't they be benefited by showing lots of views? And I mean, of course, but the problem is they don't care whether the views are on my channel, on, say, Total Biscuit's channel, who was mentioned earlier in this video, or, you know, one of the people who I mentioned, like in that other video, like B00 or Cinnamon Toast Ken or whoever, PewDiePie himself. They've kind of stopped caring whether PewDiePie makes it or not. To the point where, you know, they have an inventory. They actually even call it an inventory. And they go through it and show ads on X videos. So if I have an ad and I buy 1,000 views, then I expect it to be shown 1,000 times. And it will be. It'll be shown 1,000 times. But those 1,000 times don't have to be on the same video. Spread it out a bit. Show my ad 1,000 times on 1,000 different videos. And that's what YouTube does. And as a result, they don't care if it has nothing to do with the views. The fact that they're promoting people's channels at all are just to try to keep viewers viewing. Not at all to have anything to do with the ads. Their ads, they don't care if they're shown on one video or 100,000 videos, you know? That's the way that they work. So just kind of keep that in mind when thinking about the ad thing. And there was one other little comment. Let me just quickly check it. Oh, yeah. All right, just one quick other comment to make to finish off this video. Let's see what we've done. I'm going to jump down and kind of see the progress we've made. Let's just do one. Oh, God, there's so much to do. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just do as much as we can before we jump down there. All right, I'm jumping. Whee! All right. Oh my God! It looks like there's no difference. I know that like all of this was dirt before, but it looks like we've done nothing. Nothing. I want to convert this all to stone, but it's not going to stay stone. So I want, you people to keep that in mind if you think this looks terrible and this is a terrible idea. This is not going to stay stone. I'm going to have other things running throughout it. And it will eventually look better, but oh man, it's going to be so tough to do. Because I've been going for 40 minutes, and that's what I accomplished? Crazy. Crazy. Anyway, yeah, the last thing I wanted to mention as we close off this video, I've been noticing it recently, is that people will say like, oh, notifications. Notification. That's what they'll say. They'll just leave a comment shouting notifications. At first I was like, what the heck are you talking about? But apparently YouTube has started somehow. I think it must be new because I'd never heard about this before. Even though notifications have been around for years, they must be now pushing notifications better. Or people have realized that notifications are the way to find out when a YouTuber makes videos, as opposed to the subscriber feed. So, right beside the subscribe button, if you look at my name and then the little subscribe button, there's a little bell icon. It looks like a little bell that you would ring. That enables notifications, and you can set them per channel, apparently, to always be notified when I make a new video. I think they shoot you an email or something just to tell you, hey, by the way, this guy made a new video. And people are using that, and it's kind of handy for them because the subscriber feed, as we learned, just isn't really used anymore. So that's something to keep in mind, that you do have that option available to you, and people apparently have been using it. I would definitely recommend Twitter. I know that I don't have the same amount of subscribers on Twitter as I do here, which is, a sad thing, because Twitter is the way that I have always been notified when a new video comes out from a friend of mine, or someone that I want to follow, because they all have YouTube videos showing up there. Twitter is really the best place to know if you're wondering, like, well, I never see your videos anymore. I never know when you subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, and you will always know when my videos come out, because it's automatic. It posts an update. You can even filter it if you got something like TweetDeck to always show just my video. Like, make your own subscriber feed with Twitter. You can do that. So I'm going to just off camera keep working on, I'm maybe going to do this mountain here, this little hill here, turn all of that into stone brick. Or stone. I keep calling it stone brick. Stone. The pathway, I'm going to keep green. Like, all of this that I've done green down in the valley, I think I'm going to keep green. It's going to be a balancing act. But either way, that's where we're going to end it. Thank you guys for watching. Like this video. Comment below. And do all those other awesome things people do. If you want your comments featured in the next comment jam, of course, just stay savvy with when the TimeShot videos come out. Make good comments, and I may feature them. And we'll be seeing ya next time on TimeShot. Bye-bye.